let us, before we do anything, I'm going to check the 3-tier, guys, so you can be sure of what we're doing here, right? So DynamoDB, with DynamoDB, you have up to 25 gigabytes of storage, right? 25 provision write capacity units, 25 provision read capacity units, and enough to handle up to 200 million requests per month. Okay, so this is what we get here, always free. Okay, so we're good. We can go ahead and create a DynamoDB table with no problems. So I'm going to type here DynamoDB, and you can log into your Amazon console if you want to. So guys, let me know if you're gonna do it, so I don't wait for you, or I wait for you, depending on what you decided to do.
I'm gonna try to follow along.
Okay.
Yeah, give us like a minute, please.
Not a problem. You sound tired, Priya.
I'm just overwhelmed. I had a recent loss in my family, like a death of my uncle due to COVID. So I'm just like, we just had a moment, me and my family. So I haven't really been attentive.
Sorry for your loss.
No, it's okay. Thank you. But yeah, you don't have to wait like for me. You can go ahead.
Good. So I create a table here. I click create a table. And then I have here, it says here, the table name should be between 3 and 255 characters long, right? So I'm gonna say my first DynamoDB table, right? Now the partition key is gonna be the ID, okay? I can have a sort key if I want to, right? But I don't want to, okay? So I'm gonna keep it that way for now. So my ID is gonna be string because I'm not gonna have a number, it's just a string, right? Now, we're gonna use the default settings, but if I unclick this so that we can explore DynamoDB a little bit more, we can see here that we have something called read, write capacity mode, right? So the provision one, which is the 3-tier eligible, we have 5 read capacity units and 5 write 5 capacity units, right? It says here $291 a month, but we have up to 25 read capacity units. So we're not going to be charged for anything here, believe me. But anyways, when we're done with the database, we're going to delete it. Okay. Auto scaling. So we can have here target utilization 70%, 70% here, 5 minimum provision capacity, maximum provision capacity is 40,000 units. So this is for our scaling. We have here an IAM role that is created for us, right? And we authorize DynamoDB to scale capacities using the following role. Okay. Everything else is default here when it comes to encryption REST. So the key is owned by Amazon DynamoDB. You are not charged any fee for using this customer managed keys. Okay. This is just in case we want to change the capacity, just in case we want to create on demand here. And provision, maybe we want to not have this and change the units here if you want. But I'm going to go ahead and keep it the way it was. I'm going to use the default settings. Okay, perfect. Now that we have this, we can go ahead and create a DynamoDB table. So now our DynamoDB table has been created, right? It's created now. Now what we have to do is begin to create items, right?
Professor, when I tried to create it, I got a message saying, please check your IAM permissions. I think I'm doing it like using my root user, not my IAM.
Okay, that shouldn't be a problem. Okay, can you share your screen, please?
Sure. See, please check your.
Is anyone else getting this error? Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Go up and check user the default settings.
The default, this one?
No, go up.
Up? Okay.
Up.
I got the same thing, Professor.
Check use default settings.
This one?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
And then create the table, please.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
But just okay, let's try it first.
Okay. So you don't have the role to auto scale, but we're not auto scaling. Okay. So okay. Can you create that? Can you click on create? It doesn't work. When you click on create?
No, I get this message. You don't have the required role to enable. Did you do it, Professor, using your IAM instead of your root user? No.
Go up because I got that same thing, the same message, but it was able to create the table.
Yeah,
so same here.
You must have another error.
Same here.
So refresh
Go
the page,
up
please.
if you have another error.
Refresh the page, please.
Refresh the page or something.
Maybe because you unchecked the default settings, probably that. You have to give the name, please. And just say ID here. Yeah,
Yep.
Perfect.
Okay. Yeah, I needed this to refresh the page. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is we're going to, let me share my screen real quick. We're going to, one moment. Trying to find a Lambda function that can retrieve those items from the Dynamodb table. So we're gonna go ahead here. You see, you have some overview here of your database, of your table. I'm sorry, table. You have items here that you can create. We're gonna create an item. You have metrics. You can see here with CloudWatch. You can see how this service is being monitored. Right? We don't have any read capacity or any. We don't have any movement yet. Right? We have alarms that you can create and get a notification. The capacities here, we're using the provision one. We have 5 read capacity units and 5 write capacity units. We don't have any indexes that makes, they allow you to query efficiently over any field, attribute, or in your Dynamodb table. This is the global secondary index, can treat any table attribute as a key, even attributes not present in all items. So when you create a global secondary index, it is treated like a separate key, like a separate table, I'm sorry, or a key. It's just treat any table attribute as a key, right? We have the concept of global tables, and I have to first enable streams, and then I can create a table. And I have already here the AWS service role for Dynamodb replication that is already there, that allows me to create global tables on my behalf. Of course, this this row is automatically created for me, right? You should have it there.
Can you click on it, Professor? Because I have it, but it's not clickable.
It's not. Yeah, it's not clickable.
I have it, but it's not clickable. I have it.
Well, mine is clickable. It takes you. It should be clickable. It takes you to IAM, where the policy is right here. This is the policy that allows you to get an item, do all that, right? Should be clickable because it's a link, right? It's blue. So you see, hover
Yeah.
over it, it's a link, right?
Yeah,
So,
I'm not
Ours
sure,
is not
but
a link.
for
No
some
link on
reason,
mine as well.
okay,
Yeah.
Clickable for me as well.
for some reason, I have a feeling that's because we are logged in with our root user, not the IAM. That's why.
no, it doesn't matter.
He's
If you're
gonna
using,
set an IAM
if you're
role.
logged in as a root user, it should be even better because it has more privileges than the IAM user.
The IAM, okay.
Maybe because it's the first time you do this, guys. Let's take a look at that later.
You need to enable it, and then
we need to enable this, right? I have enabled it before, that's why.
Oh,
So you
should
have
we
to
click
enable
on
this.
enable streams?
If you want to create a global table, yes, you have to enable streams, right? We also have backups, so you can have a point-in-time recovery, a backup. We also have contributor insights, right? This is my first Dynamodb table. You see here, the table is the base table, and it is contributor insights is disabled. So I can go ahead and enable here. We can create a trigger, right? A trigger could be a function, a new function, or an existing function. We have access control here. We have Facebook identity provider actions, basket items. We have Google logging with Amazon. So we have so many things that we can do with this Dynamodb table. Okay. So back to the items. I'm going to go ahead and create a global table after I have created this one. Okay. Or after I have created the attributes of this one. Okay. So the name of the table, well, I called it this guy. So I'm going to delete this table. That's not the name that was intended. You guys can keep it that way if you want to, or you can delete and create a new one. It's so easy to create a new one. I'm gonna delete everything from the table, but I'm not gonna create a backup before delete the table. So I'm gonna leave that on check, and this table will be deleted in no time. So I'm gonna go ahead, create a table, and I'm gonna call this table person. Okay, person. The ID is gonna be the primary key, partition key. Okay, create a table again. And now I have the other one was deleted and the person table is being created, and it's going to be fast because it's a very short process. Go back to the items, and then in the items, I'm going to create an item. Okay, look at this, how it pops up and it gives you a different presentation. Look at this. So this is how you create an item. Now in the item, we're going to say ID, and it's going to be 001. Right? And we're going to add another attribute. So that's going to be, we appended, right? We're going to append, and our second attribute is going to be a string. So it's going to be the first name. So we're going to see first name. And we're going to give it a value, say Carlos. Okay? Carlos. Then we're going to have a third attribute. So it's going to be the last name. So we see string, last name, Perez. Okay. Okay.
You're stuck between a rock and a hard place.
So now we save it, and we have our first item, as you can see here. Okay, our first item. Now we can go ahead and create another attribute. Look at this. This is absolutely crazy. Of course, all of them, they need to have an ID. That's the partition key. Don't forget that. The partition key has to be in every single item, right? And now I'm going to say class, and the class is going to be math, right? And the grade is going to be a number, maybe a number, I have several types here: binary, number, string set, number set, binary set, map, list, boolean. Okay. And I would say it's a number, and the grade is going to be 98.5. Okay.
The class?
Huh?
Class is a string, you said?
Yeah, a class is math. Now I'm going to have a list here. I'm going to add a list, and the list is going to be subjects in the math class, right? And then I'm going to say the first subject is going to be algebra. Okay. The second subject is going to be, what else can we say in math?
Chemistry.
Geometry.
Geometry.
Oh, sorry. Actually, you said math.
Let's say one more.
Calculus.
Arithmetic.
Calculus. Yeah. Arithmetic. Okay. I'm going to add that one. And okay, perfect. So here we have another item. Look how this is going to look like. Look at this. You see different attributes, and now we have this guy here. So we have our first, let me refresh this. So we have our first item, right? I have a first item with a first name and last name, but the second item doesn't contain a first and last name, and it's going to put this in a different column here, attribute, right? Now, if I add a third one, that's going to be ID 003, and that's going to have maybe mother's name.
I got an error. When I try to
Martha?
save it, it said,
Let me check that now. And then father's name. Orlando. Okay. So now I save it, and look at this. It even, okay, let me close this, guys. They're taking space from here. So now I have this guy, and it have father's name in another guy, and mother name in another guy. As you can see, they're obviously not in the same order, as you can see here, but they are part of the same table. Okay, so this is what we call a flexible dynamic schema, that it doesn't respect a schema. If the schema is ID, class, and father name, every single item, if it's a fixed schema, has to have an ID, a class, and a father's name, like we did in the relational databases and tables, right? But right now, we don't have that anymore. This is flexible, right? And you can have a MongoDB table. MongoDB, I don't know if you've heard about that. MongoDB is a NoSQL database. It's very popular as well. Has the same concept as Dynamodb because it's a NoSQL database. Okay. This is how you create a database or a table in Dynamodb, right? You can do it automatically. You can do it from Lambda. You can do it from your Terraform. You can do it for CloudFormation. You can create a table and add items to it. But this is how we do it manually. So in further lessons, we're going to do it from code, from CloudFormation or Terraform, or we're going to do it from a Lambda function. Okay. Now, do you have any questions? Let us check your error, Nathan. Let's see what's going on.
oh, okay. It was when I was trying to create the second item.
Item, okay. So
Share?
yes, please.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I did the same stuff as you, but it wouldn't let me save it.
Okay, please try again. Try to save it. Okay, you would have to.
The same
Yeah,
error.
it's probably a problem. You know, it's sometimes acting out. So what you can do is basically close that and do it again, because it's not doing it that way.
So create
So-
item again and do it again.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and do it again and save it. Sometimes it does that.
Let me just add one thing and see. Use string. Okay, let me try. Huh, saved it that time.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was
does
weird.
that. Yeah, if you close those two messages in top of the screen, the blue ones, you're gonna have more space.
Okay, yeah.
Two windows there. Okay. Good.
One question, Professor.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, is it like only for static data, or it handles real-time data also, like insertion, deletion, everything, like
Yeah,
relation?
insertion, deletion, like we did with databases.
Yes.
Yeah, you can do that too. Of course, you can do that too. Yeah.
Okay, like then how do we maintain data integrity? Like if like in DBMS, we have like constraints of not null and primary key required.
Okay. That doesn't exist there. We
So
don't have.
How do we
format
make
keys.
sure that, like, if I require some field to be always there, then how do I make sure that I get it in user data?
Yeah. So if I say this 001 or 004, right? And I said first name. Let's say first name. Right. And then I create another one. Last name. So if I say this, you see I have this empty. It means that it can be empty, right? But you can put a constraint, right? You see it says empty, empty.
Yes.
So it means that they can be null. They can be null.
Right.
That's something that you can do in the code. You can force it in the code. But here, when it comes to DynamoDB, and we can read here DynamoDB constraints. Okay. So unique constraints. So we have PK, primary key store, as this. We see primary keys are guaranteed to be unique within a table. However, DynamoDB does not have a built-in mechanism for ensuring the uniqueness of attributes that are not the primary key. You see here. It's a different concept completely.
Okay.
Yeah. You see here.
How do you delete an item, Professor?
How do I delete an item?
How can I delete an item? Like I added an item that
Okay.
it's not necessary. Yeah.
Just give me 1 second. There's no null, not null constraint explicitly available in DynamoDB. However, there's a feature to provide default values for the attribute if you're using DynamoDB mapper. So those are more advanced topics, right? But you can control that from the code, you see? So you can use notations here. Right?
Okay.
So that's from the code, that's control from the code. And that's the flexibility that it has. Okay.
Thank you.
You're
Can you
welcome.
just
So,
check mark by the ID
Yeah,
and then
you
do
should-
actions delete?
yeah, you check mark there and then you do delete right here. And
Don't you have a
the address.
schema for the
Huh?
NoSQL database?
I'm sorry?
There is no schema.
There's a schema, but it's flexible. That's the schema, what you see here, but it's dynamic, it's flexible, right? It's not a fixed schema like in the tables that we saw before.
Okay.
It's a dynamic schema. That's a schema, right? This item has a class, father's name and mother's name. This one has first name empty, and this empty. By the way, I don't need this guy. Right? And there's no concept of foreign key here. There's no foreign key. It's one table. It's one table. So let me create a global table in another region. So click here, global tables, enable streams. Okay, both the new and all images, both the new images of the items, enable. So now that I have this, right, I can go ahead and create a replica table in another region. So I add a region here, right? And I choose the region that I want to create the replica into. So I'm going to choose Ohio. Okay. And now that the region is ready, pick create replica to proceed. So I'm going to go ahead and create the replica. Now, while the replica is being created, I cannot delete person. Just in case I want to delete it, I can't, right? So the replica are being updated. So now if I move to Ohio, right, I will be able to see that there's nothing there yet, but there will be soon, right? So I can refresh this. I just need to wait a little longer. Let me open a different tab and go back to Virginia.
Professor, I got an error while creating the replica. For me, current region is Ohio, so I chose Northern Virginia, but it is giving me an error.
Is your original region North Virginia? Because if you're creating a table in the same
Ohio,
region.
For replica, I chose Northern Virginia. It's Ohio.
Okay, and what is the error that you're getting?
It says internal server error.
Oh, internet service error.
Internal server error.
Oh, there's nothing I can do about it. So what you can do, but sometimes this adds up. We've seen it before. What I recommend is refreshing the page and do it again.
Okay.
Sometimes the server returns an error, and it's just not because it's just like a hiccup. No, it doesn't mean that the server is down. It's just sometimes it happens, right? In the meantime, guys, we have something called Dynamodb Accelerator, and this is something that you will see. You will see in the exams that you're going to take. Dynamodb Accelerator is a way to accelerate the delivery of or response of the database table. Okay, and also is good for caching the data, right, for your table. Dynamodb Accelerator. Okay, it's known as DAX, but is Amazon Dynamodb Accelerator. You can watch this video when you have some time. Right now it's operating normally in this entire region. It's operating normally. Let me take a look at the table here. I don't see the table? Where is my table? Okay, so I guess we need to still wait.
Professor, now there is a print error. Now it says table write capacity should either be pay per request or auto scaled.
Yeah, you don't have the role for that, for the permission, for the auto scaling. Remember what Fatin got? That she doesn't have a role for auto scaling. So basically what we're doing here is scaling. We're creating a replica in another region. So we're scaling out, right? Okay. So that's something that we have to look into, because as you guys are creating this for the first time, you may get some errors. So this is still updating, right? It may take some time for the database to be available in the other region, okay? So I'm going to stop the video now because this was just for creating a table. It may take some time for the table to be available in the other region, Ohio region. So let me see here. Still waiting for that to show, right? And once we have seen that, then we see that we realize that it's working. So I'm going to create another video, and the other video is for us to create a DynamoDB that will return one of the items. Okay, one of the items, and probably all the items. Why not? With the ID. Okay, with the ID. That can be done using Python like we did before. So global table is still, you do not have a global table with the name region to create. Okay. Okay, still working here. Yep, we need to wait. There's no other choice. Okay, and it will show here. Okay, so in the meantime, let us stop this video, right? And let us check if anyone has an error other than the row that is needed for that.